Dr. Amar said that broadband is definitely coming. This is something we all agree on. We don't really have stats on how fast or where the status of it is today, but we know that it is coming. We know that more or less media is going to die the way we see it today. And we also know that content is king. And based on these three, we're looking at how do we move this forward into this kind of conversation here, where we're talking about media consumption, more or less. And media consumption today is a lot different than what it was back in Jan 25, even when we're looking at Egypt. The behavior of consumers is now kind of geared online. What they're consuming online has also changed a little bit more. They're geared towards social networks. They're geared towards a lot of crowdsourced content, not the same way that it was there before. What we want to look at is a little bit of that. We want to talk about how advertising spend is a little bit low, but then again, why is it low, and how people are looking at this kind of content, how are they consuming them. We're also going to explore the trends in content creation, content consumption, and what challenges we expect to have it face. For this, I'm going to introduce my panelists. Brendan Ogilvie, VP of Digital Insights and Effective Measures.
Thank you very much. Just a little bit about myself. Effective Measure is an audience measurement company, a digital audience measurement company. So we measure websites across the Middle East. We began 2.5 years ago. So currently we measure about 600 sites across the region. Last month we measured around about 76 million users, which is around about 80% of the reach of the internet for MENA. So we collect traffic information in the dashboard, but also demographic information. So we have a very good kind of feel and understanding for Egypt, for example, of what consumers are doing online and what the consumer looks like in terms of audience. I think that's enough about me.
It is enough, but what we're also going to focus on is Brendan's going to be helping us, giving us some analytics and stats about the region, which is something we're going to be using in our discussion in a little bit. My next panelist, Shadi Sharif, is founder and managing director of Core Publications.
Hi,
how are you? You're right. I know there's a video you want to share with us.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about Core Publications in like a couple of words before we play the video?
Actually, I think I'm here for Core Virtual.
Yeah,
That's true. Core Virtual is like the evolution of Core Publications. We're picking from where Core Publications or the magazine left off. Our first project was Gomorrah TV. It's a platform made by the youth for Egyptian youth. We're trying to, actually we're the first to create a tailor-made content for the web.
Okay, sounds interesting. Okay. All right, we're going to talk about it in a second. Let's play the video. Supposed to be sound? Is there supposed to be sound?
احنا شباب مصريين عادي يعني تربينا بس في زمن فريد شويتين بقينا ثقافتنا من التلفزيون كان عندي قناه اولى وقناه ثانيه بقرص برامج وسينما الاطفال يوم الجمعه وافتح يا مازنجر انا معاك لما كبرنا شويه وعايزين نتثقف بقى وكده كنا بنتفرج على عالم الحيوان وجامدين اننا بنتفرجوا على علم الايمان وعشان نعرف الدنيا فيها ايه كنا بنتفرج على العالم يغني يوم الاحد نادي السينما يوم السبت واخترنا القناه بتاعنا العالم كانت صغيره المشكله في السينما مش خايف اخترنا لك طول عمرنا كان في ناس بيختاروا لنا نشوف ايه ونعرف ايه ونفهم ايه وبعدين كبرنا بقى العالم صغير وسع فجأة بقى في انترنت وساتلايت مليانين برامج تلفزيون وافلام وتقارير ونشرات وتسجيلي والوقت طويل وقصير عالم محال كانت صدمه الحقيقه بس تعلمنا الفرق بين الحقيقه والهبل حتى كمان بعد شويه عرفنا مين بيوجهه وعرفنا يعني ايه اعلام موجه وعرفنا عايز يوجهنا ازاي في اللحظه المهمه دي من تاريخ مصر شكلنا كده بقينا فاهمين احنا عايزين نتفرج على ايه عايزين نعرف اللي حصل وبيحصل كفايه كده كفايه اختيارات مش عايزين حد يمشينا على مزاجه ومش عايزين حد يشربنا افكار ومش عايزين حد يفتكر انه عارف واحنا مش عارفين وبالمره بقى مش عايزين يجب انا ومش عايزين لازم مش عايزين حد يكلمنا من فوق مفيش حاجه فوق عايزين يبقى عندنا صوت جمهوريه تي في عايز نفصل يعني
We're going to talk about this in a second. It's actually very interesting. We also want to know, based on your insight, because again the video says you guys know what you want to watch, people know what they want to watch. It's going to be interesting to see how that.
This is who we are.
This is who you are. Yeah. Okay. Well, my next panelist, Mohammed Magid. He's sales director for Egypt and Levant for Connect Ads.
Hi.
How are you? All right.
Okay. I'm the sales director of Connect Ads. Connect Ads mainly is the digital media house with the official representative of MSN as well as Facebook and Link Online. Mainly our job is to get advertisers for our partners. So that's all.
Is it clear? Okay. Clear? Wasim Tanahi, he's the founder and managing director of Media Republic. How are you?
Hello everyone. I wish I had a video. Media Republic is a marketing communications agency on the one hand, which provides advertising services, PR, event management to its clients, local and international. And we also have a publishing arm whose first product is Cairo360.com. It's a lifestyle guide to living in Cairo, has restaurant reviews and news, cafes, events, and so on.
Also clear. Great. So we have more or less of an advertiser slash publication owner. We have a media booking agency with us. We have a content creator, and we have more or less of a stats expert with us. And we're going to start with the stats just to get an idea of what are the popular content, what kind of information Brendan has to share with us, and then we'll take it from there.
More or less is a good phrase.
More or less is a very good phrase.
I think we'll start with, we did a survey last 2 weeks actually, right across MENA, but we collected a sample of around about 600 people in Egypt. This is an online survey. I want to share some results regarding people that are online and what they do in terms of other media and how that compares to their media consumption online. So I just want to share some stats. So for television, this is daily consumption. What is the percentage of daily consumption for internet users? 73% of internet users watch TV every day. 24% listen to the radio, which seemed a little bit low given you spend a lot of time in the car, but 45% read the newspaper every day, which is actually quite high compared to other markets. 10% read magazines, 88% go to the internet every day, 48% use a mobile application on a daily basis. So you can really see, if you look at the top two numbers there, it's competing between the internet and television. If you look at the time that is spent on these different mediums, let's look at 3 hours or more. 66% of consumers spend 3 hours or more on TV, 25% 3 hours or more on radio, 19% on newspapers, 13% for magazines, 82% online. So 82% spend 3 hours or more per day online, 81% spend 3 hours or more using a mobile application or a mobile device. So that's kind of the broader perspective of what online consumers are doing with other media as well. Clearly, digital and mobile is quite a high percentage if you look at across those different forms of media. Now, if we want to look at what consumers are doing online, we'll break it down to Egypt specifically. I'll just give you some kind of some basic. Let me find it here.
He's got a lot of pages in his book.
Now I've got to find it. I wrote a lot of stuff here.
He did.
Wow.
Okay. A video you could have played.
We should look at that video. Right. So for Egypt, with Effective Measure, we're able to measure all forms of websites, either through a tag code, a JavaScript, or a panel. I won't get into the detail of how that works, but we measure Google, Facebook, Yahoo, right through the local sites like Unicef and so on. So if we look at the rankings in terms of time spent, but also the number of users by different types of content, the top one is Google. So search is obviously is actually the largest chunk of time spent or users. Social is next. So Facebook and Twitter is up there as well. So social, as Amar mentioned before, is definitely a move, and we all know this as well. Beyond that, it's portals such as Yahoo and MSN. Then very much news sites and sports. So sports is very big in the Middle East. But news sites, in particular in Egypt, rank very, very highly. Beyond that, we have an interesting phenomenon in the Middle East and in Egypt where we have community-based sites, and they tend to be female-focused sites, actually. So in other parts of the Middle East, we have things like Harbour World. Here we have Fatakat. We have so these are kind of the emerging, very interesting, large traffic, but tend to be more female-focused. Beyond that, we're starting to see an emergence of business and finance sites. So smaller traffic, but they are definitely climbing up the rankings. Then we start to see gaming portals and so on. So that's really kind of, if you look at the top 10 in terms of content and what people are doing, if you look at the rankings, that's very much how it looks. Should I describe really the audience? What does the audience look like? Okay, I'll switch
Surely
it
I'd like to know.
Okay, so I have a sample of 83,634 people for the last 30 days in Egypt. So it's a large sample. So it's still very much male-dominated. It's around about 65 to 35% split towards male, generally. In terms of education or age, let's look at age first. If you look at the bell curve, you look at 21-year-olds through to 40. That's really the dominant chunk of, in terms of the age bracket. You've got, let's say 10% are aged 18 to 20, but if you look at the next, I would say, let's say 65% are aged between 25 and 40. Beyond that, I would say you would have around about 13 or 14% older than that. Other interesting factors here, 63 or 64% have a tertiary degree, so are educated. Beyond that is another 16% have a postgraduate degree, so a very educated population online. Of that, let's say around about 25% are either managerial or a senior official, or 40% are what they call a professional. So again, we're starting to see a higher income bracket, an interesting kind of emergence of, well, I would describe this as a middle class community in a lot of ways. So that's kind of giving you a feel for what an audience looks like in Egypt, based on a very large sample, and kind of what they do online in terms of the top 10, top 12 types of media that they use.
Very interesting. So just a quick sum up so that we can actually take this conversation further. We're talking 88% use the internet. 82% of those use it for over 3 hours, or about 3 hours.
That's right.
Followed by TV, which is at 73%, and 66% of those use it for more than 3 hours. Most sites that are popular in this region are Google, followed by the social networks, Facebook and Twitter, and then the portals, Maktub, Yahoo, MSN, and then some news. 65% are geared towards male, who are 21 to 25 to 40 years old is a majority, and I think more or less this takes us to our next conversation, which trying to understand how Gumhuriya actually more or less got it all right based on the target audience and the majority of the people. Tell us a little bit more about it. How did the idea start, and how did you go about making it?
Okay. First of all, I'm honored to be here. From the minute I came here, it was like taking notes and figures and what to do and what to avoid. So thank you guys at ArabNet. Second, it makes me more at ease if I speak in Arabic to explain why we're here. Okay. جمهورية تي في I'm sure في ناس كتير قوي هنا.
No, it's okay. I'm just going to get him a translation device. I can keep going.
أنا واحد من الناس تقريبا اللي لو في حد عارف طبعا الأرقام ديت شوف كلكم عارفينها old experts أنا جديد هنا. الفيسبوك لوحده زاد from 7 million to 8.5 million في مصر. أنا كنت واحد من 1.5 million كده.
Okay.
بعد الثورة يعني. Okay. I'm very old school guy. Keep taking notes. معايا الجنب بتاعتي بكتب فيها كل حاجة. يعني I'm like forced إن أنا أستخدم الإنترنت. Okay. أنا عندي تكنولوجي طبعا. لما جينا نعمل الجمهورية تي في عملناه كان بسبب كذا حاجة. كان one of the reasons actually إن لقينا إن إحنا أول حاجة كل التالنتس إحنا we believe so much in young talents. ده بالذات for publication we've been in the market for 12 years دلوقتي. ولقينا إن when it comes to TV and traditional media كل الناس they are after the stars. You want the stars. بس. واحنا بقينا بنستدي جمهوريه تي في دوت دلوقتي for the last 2 years تقريبا او just launched شهرين اللي فاتوا بس. كل اللي احنا بنحاول نعمله ان احنا بنقدم بلاتفورم حاجه بسيطه كده اقولها لك بس معلش. اوكي سوري. زمان الواحد وهو صغير عامه كان بيقعد يتفرج، احنا نفس الجيل تقريبا كلكم شفتوا اللي كان الناس تقريبا كانت بنضحك كلنا تقريبا نفس الجيل ده معظمنا. كنا بنقعد نتفرج على التلفزيون زمان، اهالينا ما كانوش بيخافوا علينا. ايه الحاجات اللي احنا نستقبلها من التلفزيون؟ كان عندنا برامج زي العلم والايمان، ممرات وابوه، رزق اخترنا لك، كنا بنفضل قاعدين اهالينا مش خايفين علينا خالص. دلوقتي لما يقعدوا قدام التلفزيون شويه قدام الانترنت كله بيبقى خايف هو هيشوف ايه في التلفزيون.
ونحن بنخاف على اهلنا.
بالظبط. بالظبط تقريبا. بس فالفكره كلها ان احنا بنحاول نقدم بلاتفورم زي ما دكتور عمار قال تقريبا، ان بنحاول نقدم بلاتفورم في ضياع تالنت ستيل ما حدش يقدر يابلود اي حاجه ما فيهاش صور رقصه مثلا تروح تعمل لها ابلود، لا كله لازم يعدي علينا الاول.
Okay.
في نوتيفيكيشن تمام بس
Really content is pre-moderated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing cheap on the website. احنا want to position it as a family TV, still on the internet, video on demand, and watch what you want, the time you want.
All right. Thank you. Muhammad. Yes. How is Connect Ads doing in Egypt, not financially speaking? Because we don't want to talk about that now. I don't think it's relevant to anyone. How is it doing in terms of how do you see the increase in booking of ads and what kind of content of ads being booked?
Okay, I think you want to speak in Arabic or in English?
طيب.
Mainly in Egypt it's different شوية. احنا ابتدينا في 2001 2002. كان لسه كنا بنخبط على الناس، كانوا الناس الادفرتايزرز بيطلبونا بره، انتوا جايين تعملوا ايه مين ايه الانترنت ايه. كان في ويب سايتس، كانت الناس بتخش على الويب سايتس. دلوقتي بعد الثوره الدنيا مفهوم الانترنت عامه في مصر اختلف. طبعا الناس يعني احنا كشركه لينا سيستر كومباني لينك دي اس ال، كانت الناس بتخش لينك دي اس ال تقول لهم انا عايزه فيسبوك، يعني انا عايز اشتري فيسبوك، انا مش عايز اشتري انترنت، انا عايز اشتري فيسبوك. فالثوره غيرت الموضوع ده، بس الثوره غيرت في حتت كتير. يعني مثلا احنا لو جينا نبص من ناحيه الادفرتايزرز هتلاقي ان الكونتنت في حاجات كتير قوي في الكونتنت الناس كانت بتادفرتايز عليها وقت الثوره، اللي هم مينلي النيوز ويب سايتس والسوشيال ويب سايتس. يعني بنتكلم على حاجه زي مصراوي، حاجه زي اليوم السابع، حاجه زي فيسبوك، الحاجات دي هي دي اللي كانت جنريت الادفرتايزرز كانوا هم بيادفرتايزوا عليه. ده نتيجه ايه؟ نتيجه ان احنا بنتكلم ان الترافيك بتاع الويب سايتس ده انكريز دراماتيكلي بعد الثوره. يعني بقت شويه ناحيه ان هي نيوز وسوشيال ويب سايت. الكلاينتس اجنورد شويه حته الانترتينمنت، حته مثلا الفيميلز، الحته دي ان هم يعني طبعا السنين بنتكلم عليها اكتر، ان هم كانوا دايما بيبصوا على حته النيوز. This now is changing. انا بقول ان السبند is increasing dramatically. client percentage is increasing. clients ابتدوا يقولوا ان هم مش بس هيادفرتايزوا على النيوز، هيادفرتايزوا كمان على الانترتينمنت وعلى الفيميل ويب سايتس وهيادفرتايزوا على حاجات ثانيه. بس طبعا اكشولي كادفرتايزر هو عنده الناحيه الثانيه اللي هي ناحيه السيلز بتاعته بتافكت السبند بتاعه. فلما بيحصل حاجه في البلد بتحس ان هي بيبقى فيه فريز كده فور وايل بس بترجع تاني. ثانكس جاد ان احنا في الاندستري بتاعت الانترنت دي ان البادجتس بتاعتنا ستيل از سمول برسنتج من البادجتس بتاعت الكلاينتس. فلما بيجي يكات بادجت بيكات من تراديشنال ميديا عشان هي الجود برسنتج، لكن ما they don't cut من البرسنتج بتاعتنا احنا. هو ممكن يا يفريز يا ينزل.
Muhammad, do you agree? Is this what's happening with you as well?
In a certain respect, but I mean, we were affected by the revolution. I would imagine you were too. I think any publishing platform, any media channel that people pay to advertise on would have been affected. We bounced back fairly quickly, but I'm in a unique position where we're an agency, but we're also a publishing platform, so we see both sides of the coin. Budgets were cut for a certain amount of time. Again, they bounced back very quickly. People wanted to get out there quickly, carry on, spend their money, but spend it a little bit more wisely. If you have a platform that allows you to do that, that's highly targeted, then yes, I'd say I would agree.
Okay, in terms of type of content that's being booked on or that is being created by agencies like you, is it geared more towards anything different recently, or is it still the same kind of ratio of display ads versus text ads versus video ads?
Again, I think it's people ask for everything. In Egypt, we spend a lot less money online than we do abroad. The people that do want to spend the money don't always know what they want.
Okay.
We get requests for everything. People want to create custom applications for themselves as a new medium to carry their own message. We get the people that simply want to do a banner ad. They want to do one kind of banner ad. They want to do a special execution, which integrates itself with the content of the site. And I think as these, for me personally, as a publisher, when we're talking about Cairo 360, our content is fairly straightforward. It's text-based.
Okay.
We plan on enriching it somehow, one way or another. But instead of focusing more on the type of content, as in video, images, so on, developing that, we'd like to focus more on how we deliver the content. Through applications, through whatever different ways we'll be able to deliver our site to people on different platforms, whether it's mobile, whether it's on the iPad, whether it's online.
Okay, one last question to you before we jump into another topic. Do you see an increase in demand of advertisers wanting to create their own content? Or to at least be present in more or less a different way than just creating banner ads or...
I mean, I think if you look at Egypt, the entire industry in the last 2 years is a big milestone. Digital companies have tripled. Digital agencies have come out of nowhere. I mean, Cairo 360, when we first started, which was the beginning of 2010, is at least double the number of contacts we have at agencies. And they're the guys that are creating, well, specifically digital agencies. We're a full-service agency. Specifically, digital agencies are coming up with very creative ways of giving advertisers their own content. I know a few soft drink companies have created their own apps. The telcos as well have created their own apps for traffic and so on. So yes, that is definitely the case.
Great. Mohammed, what do you think about the different types of content, and has anybody been approaching you to more or less sponsor content, create content, source content?
Yes, you're right. I think that the content is very important. I think that Dr. Bakar said content is king. It's really and دلوقتي انت تبص اي advertiser according للتارجت بتاعه. فهو it's mainly if we're talking about Unilever, and as an example, they're looking for females website for some of their brands. الفيميل content اللي موجود هنا which is available في region is not that much. So I think that it's very important ان انت تشوف الادفرتايزر what do they want and how you'll be able to generate users. مش بتكلم users ان انت لازم يبقى عندك millions، بس ان انت to generate some users، ان انت تحسس الكلاينت ده how important اليوزرز بتاعتك are targeted، عشان هي I think which is a very important part، حته contextual targeting هي the part that will be coming in the next years.
Okay, Shadi, do you think, based on your model and based on Gumriya TV, do you think that users are capable at least of creating this content that the advertisers want to more or less brand and then share with other people?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I don't think not yet.
Is it because of the market itself? Is it because of...
Actually, في حاجة دايما بنقول عليها اسمها creative content.
Yeah.
Creative content which is they are very interesting still للusers، وفي نفس الوقت it fits perfectly مع البلاتفورم بتاع أي sponsor. بس when it comes to talents ان هم لسه it's like a media revolution، كله بيبتدي لسه start doing apps and creating content وكده. ف the good thing in the sponsors كلهم تقريبا more or less very interested in sponsoring those talents.
Okay.
This is the good thing about it.
Interesting. What about the social aspect of this content? Even when it comes to advertisers, I know they're advertising on Facebook. I know they're advertising on any place that allows people to more or less advertise on. But have they managed somehow to, I mean, at least in this region, to make this a little bit more social? Social being the new term or definition for what was previously known as viral content. Is content being created in a way that are they considering the shareable aspect of content as it's being produced? Apart from, Mohammed likes this page, you should like it as well.
I mean, yeah, definitely. I can't count the number of times I've been in a meeting where someone says, yes, I want to be on Facebook and I want it to go viral. That's what everybody wants. I think definitely everybody does want to do this. I think for something to truly go viral, it's very difficult. You have to have the right kind of content at the right time. If it's too early, it won't work. If it's too late, it won't work. A lot of the time, if something you don't expect to go viral does. A lot of the time, something you spend a lot of money on to go viral doesn't. So really, I mean, they all want it, but whether it happens or not, it's it depends on exactly how good they are at doing it. So.
Okay. What do you think?
I think that clients are afraid because it's very risky, actually, to generate content now because of
Just
the
let it go?
for the situation, because of the situation in the country now, so they are afraid to generate some content. But I think that there is a lot of examples that generated content, like Coke is an example. They generated content for the Like campaign that they have done. I think it was good, and the numbers are very good, and it was shared virally very well.
So, given the fact that there's not that much that's actually been done on viral content, don't you think now is the platform, now is the time to do it?
I think it's Shadi will say it.
Shadi was nodding, but can I with us? Do you agree? إذا بدنا نعمل viral content مش هلا الوقت مضبوط لحتى
Perfect time.
perfect time.
Perfect time. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna turn the questions to the audience. The mic. Round of mics.
My question is to Shadi, how much moderation are you going to have on Gomori TV? And how much censorship you're going to have in there? So what if I'm against the revolution and I want to put some content in your channel? I'm not though.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not cheap.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's quality, not content.
It's quality, exactly. And you guarantee freedom of expression. Totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. But are you alright?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Amar has a question.
Actually, the question is also for Shadi. I'm curious about, we had the talk previous to this was about smart TVs and interactive content. And one of my favorite things that you guys do is Mahkama.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about the Mahkama and about how interactive people have been using it. Have people been voting? What have they, I mean...
People are going crazy.
So tell us a bit more about it.
Okay. هشرح المحكمة بس أكتر. المحكمة تقريبا the first interactive series أو web series. It's like 5 دقايق 6 دقايق 7 دقايق حاجة كده maximum. It's the first format worldwide. تتفرج على مسلسل حقيقي تلاقي كرايم سين، تتفرج وتشوف بتلاقي حادثة في الأول حصلت، بعد كده وكيل نيابة بيحقق مع حوالي 3 4، بعد كده في الآخر تلاقي إن أنت اللي بتختار، لازم تختار أنت المتهم، بعد كده بتكتب الدليل. فهي الفكرة كلها إن إحنا أخدنا جزء من اللي هي الحاجة اللي الناس متعودة عليها، اللي هي كأنك تتفرج على مسلسل عادي جدا في التلفزيون. Then at the end people were very surprised إن أنت you can interact، أنت اللي بتقول مين المتهم وأنت اللي بتكتب الدليل، بعد كده you get points، بتترقى تبقى معاون نيابة لوكيل نيابة لرئيس نيابة. بس.
How's the traction?
What kind of, I mean, how much traffic is going through this? What are people voting for? Are they commenting on it? Do they, is it creating conversations?
I keep getting calls يعني ممكن تقول لحد الساعة 4 الصبح 5 الصبح من الناس عايزين نعرف الحل فعايزين نحل الموضوع، فبقول لهم تخيلوا الويب سايت ده بره مش هتعملوا ايه. ف so far احنا بقالنا تقريبا حوالي شهر واحد لسه فاتحين او شهر ونص، لسه ما عملناش اي ادفرتايزنج او اي ماركتنج، سايبين الموضوع يجو فايرال كده عن وورد اوف ماوث. so far الناس اللي حوالي شافوا المحكمة 40,000 مثلا حاجه كده. بس احنا the good thing about الجمهورية about عامة الcontent that we produce ان هي it's very low budget creative deep but yet very high quality. فاول ما نزلنا الجمهورية TV جالنا كمية اوفرز من كل التراديشنال ميديا اند برودكاستر بيوند الكونتنت دوت على التي في. بيسيب المحكمة مثلا فور اكزامبل اتس ا كاش كاب، بدل ما كنا بنشوف كرومبو مثلا او حاجه كده، لا هتشوفوا مسلسل بجد والناس تبتدي تشوف مسلسل حلو وتبتدي الناس تتراكت معاه بقى احسن بس ورخيص.
Very interesting model, and I think this could be one of the models that can be used for advertising as well.
Yeah, but for telecoms,
Yeah.
telecoms بالذات yes.
With Huawei.
What we're trying to create بالظبط ان احنا بنحاول نطلع بافكار لبرامج جديده كلها تمشي. يعني عاملين برنامج نازل اول في يناير ان شاء الله اسمه الشارع يغني. عندنا برنامج زمان قوي في مصر اسمه العالم يغني، فاحنا غيرناه دلوقتي بقى اسمه الشارع يغني، وده it fits perfectly مع البلاتفورم بتاع كوك. perfect.
Excellent. Next question. Just wait for your mic.
أنا أحمد عبد الفتاح من أورينت بلاننج بي آر.
بدك تعرف بس.
اوكي. أنا أحمد عبد الفتاح من أورينت بلاننج بي آر. بس أنا عندي حاجة شخصية إن أنا بشتغل أونلاين أوفلاين ماركتير. بس أنا عاوز أقول إن إحنا كماركتير مش بنلاقي بنلاقي مكان نحط فيه ادفرتايزنج على الإنترنت، إن مفيش يعني مفيش ويب سايت كتيرة أو ترافيك عالي ممكن نحط عليها ادفرتايزنج. يعني أنا بس يعني عندي كاستمر مثلا بتاع ليد بيعمل برودكتس ليد برودكتس، ممكن احط ادفرتايزنج على التلفزيون او في الجرايد، انا عارف فين الاماكن اللي احط فيها بسهوله.
اوكي.
انما في الانترنت انا يعني ناس بتنتج مواقع انترنت مش بيجي يقول لي تعالى اعمل عندي ادفرتايزنج، او مش بيوفر المعلومه ان هو عنده مساحه، مش عنده ما عنديش انفورميشن كامله عنده. دي مشكله اعتقد ان الناشرين الانترنت لازم يهتموا بيها ولازم يحلوها للناس بتعمل.
هلا عادة في شيء اسمه نتورك ادز بحل هاي المشكلة، اللي هو حتى لو انا ما حدا بيعرف عن الويب سايت تبعي I link with the network and then if you book ads على هاي النتورك بيصيروا عندي الاد.
لا يعني
سؤالك
ممكن اروح على الام بي سي مثلا في برنامج نسائي على الام بي سي، بس ما فيش محتوى نسائي كبير على الانترنت ممكن يشد الستات.
صحيح، وهو هذا موضوع حديث.
المشكله ان احنا عندنا نقص في المحتوى، هو ده اللي بيقلل الاعلان على الانترنت، مش ان الاعلان قليل فما فيش محتوى. اعتقد ان المحتوى لازم يبقى موجود الاول.
اوكي.
I agree معاك في بارت ان حته السبلاي بتاع الكونتنت على الانترنت لسه مش موجود، بس هي فكره كلها لما انت بيبقى عندك حاجه زي دي، عندك حاجه زي افكتيف ميجرز او نيلسون او الحاجات دي، تخش تبص عليها هتلاقي ان في زي البارت بتاع النيوز، البارت بتاع الفيميل، البارت بتاع اكس، تقدر تعرف ايه الويب سايت الترافيك بتاع الويب سايتس. فانت لو انت بتتكلم في حاجه نيش قوي مش موجود فيها قوي، فاتس فيري امبورتنت ان التارجتنج بتاعك يبقى دايركت للحاجات دي. فانت ما تبصش على الترافيك قد ما انت تبص على الكونتكستوال ادفرتايزنج. فتيجي مثلا انت بتيجي تقول دلوقتي انا مش لاقي ادفرتايزنج او ويب سايتس كتير للفيميلز، لا في ويب سايت ادفرتايزنج للفيميلز، بس انت ما ينفعش تقارنه مثلا تقارن بين مصراوي ويب سايت بتاع فيميلز، عشان مصراوي ده النيوز فبيخش عليه الميلز والفيميلز والاطفال وكل حاجه، والتاني بيخش عليه الفيميلز بس، اللي هو زي ما قال بيمثلوا 35% من الانترنت بوبوليشن بتاع مصر. انت لازم تيجي تبص في الحته دي، لازم تقارن الحاجه، تقول ان انا هوصل ل 100,000 واحد، في مصراوي توصل ل 5 مليون واحد، بس دول 100,000 واحد التارجت بتاعك.
If I could jump in and say something really quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
I also think in terms of a variety of different types of websites in Egypt, there are a lot of websites in Egypt, but in terms of variety it's very limited. You have tons of news sites, you have tons of football sites, we're just starting to get a few car sites, but there is a real shortage in variety of content, and if there are any people here that want to start their own website, I strongly recommend it to do something unique, to get some special content. I moved back here from London, couldn't find any information about where to go out and what to do, except for very limited information. And that's what inspired Cairo 360. Living in the UK, you get such mundane detail when it comes to specialization of media, which you don't get here.
I'm going to interrupt you. I just want Brendan also to comment on the question before we take the last question.
You've made a very good point about there needs to be more content and more specialized content out there. And it's the same for every market in the Middle East, by the way. And, so it's not unique. But just to your point, hopefully you can. You've got the headphones. Great.
Yeah.
So what we do is we enable the agencies. If you go to a digital agency, they can use this tool to understand where females are for exactly in terms of where they are in Egypt, across which sites, to what extent, in terms of what numbers, and so on. So there is technology available these days in these markets where if you want to drill down to a female with kids in the household of a certain income, that is educated or whatever, you can create that report and understand where those people are across the internet.
Last question. Where's the mic?
This one here.
Hello, my name is Abdurrahman. I was just presenting yesterday at Crowley.com. I want to ask a bit, actually I have two questions. One of them is about a local phenomenon, and the other one is about ads. The first one is about the convergence between online and offline. I believe this is not a big issue in the Western world because people are online. The rates for being online are not that high, even over mobile. However, we're still learning how to do that here in the region. And offline still offers, or it still represents a very large communication medium, as we all know. So how can we, how do you manage this gap? How can you fill this gap? Especially when the technology moves from the north to the south and tries to go through Africa and so on. This is the main challenge for anyone who wants to do something online here. How is he going to deal with the online-offline gap, and how are you going to offer this to people? The other question is for the small guy, the little guy who wants to do a website, wants to offer some content online, and he wants to base his revenue on ads. He has to go through the digital ad agencies or the people who are pretty dominant or own the advertising world, and they are a bit, still a bit, not monopolized, but a bit polarized. There are only a couple of big players. So what is the how can the little guy overcome that? Because as the gentleman here said, I don't think, and I agree with him partially, but what he was trying to say is that if you want to go and advertise online, you have to go to a certain entity. And you're going to there still isn't any standard for selling or buying ads online, except on Google Ads and Facebook and so on. So those are the two questions: the online-offline gap. How do you manage that in order to attract more people and interact with more people, like in the rural areas of Egypt, and for example, and so on. The other thing, how can the little guy go about his way with the ad agency? Because if they don't like him personally, they won't sell his ads within their package.
Go ahead. I'd rather you do the first, and then we'll see
the gap between the offline. Okay. The gap between the offline and the online, I agree with you 100% with what you're saying, especially in Upper Egypt and areas like this where the internet penetration is very low and the speed is very low and everything. But I think that there is solutions for this that have been happening now. The traditional agencies now, or the on-ground agencies, they have, there is an example of a brand in Egypt where they have done a campaign, and the campaign was on Facebook, and they wanted some interactions on the Facebook fan page, or their Facebook fan page for the Upper Egypt. They took people with laptops and they went in the areas there were highly populated, and actually the people have been subscribing online from those areas in order to do. But the most important thing is to merge both, to merge the online and the offline, because here in Egypt, for a specific age, they are not online. They want to be online, but they don't know how. So using the offline with the reach will help you to make a successful campaign. Hopefully this solves your question.
The question is how. I acknowledge this fact. I was asking, how do you go about, how do you merge this with regards to content and delivery and so on?
In regard to content and delivery, we merge it simply is that we support the online activations with the offline campaigns. Like now you can say that Facebook, you will see that all the offline campaigns has the URL of Facebook or the website down. This is the only solution that we're doing now, and helping the people to go online through people on ground with the laptops.
Sorry, the second part of the question, I'd like to direct it to Shadi. Shadi, although you really don't represent a small business or startup, but can you just give us a quick answer as to how you attract advertisers, or how do you...
It's very simple بصراحة. الفكرة كلها ان انت في الاول وفي الاخر احنا بنعتبر ان في advertiser وفي ad agency or whatever. الكلاينت في الاول وفي الاخر ده الكلاينت في الاول وفي الاخر يوزر زيه زيك عادي جدا. وانس ان هو ابتدى يسمع الويب سايت، وانس ان هو ابتدى يعرض عليه ترافيك زي فيسبوك اول ما نزل مصر ما كانش فيه اي معلنين خالص. اول ما كل الناس كانت عايزه تعمل اعلانات على فيسبوك، لان في الاول وفي الاخر انا ككلاينت ريبريزنتنج كوب فودافون او وات ايفر شايف كل الناس داخله على فيسبوك، فساعتها ده في الموضوع كله مش مربوط دايما بالاد ايجنسي طبعا، بس الفكره كلها ان في الاول وفي الاخر الكلاينت هو الفاينل ديسيجن ميكر. لو سمع عن الويب سايت ده عليه ترافيك كويس ممكن ديفنتلي يبقى انترست ان هو يروح له على طول.
بص واتس فيري امبورتنت ان انت تعرف كلاينت عايز ايه. يعني انت لو انت تعمل ويب سايت لازم تعرف كلاينت عايز ايه، ولازم تعرف الكومبيتيشن اللي في الماركت عامله ازاي. يعني سوري زي ما الناس بتوع الكلاينت عايزين ايه، هو عايز يوصل لمين. انت اذا عملت حاجه نيش وحتى لو الترافيك بتاعها قليل ورحت للكلاينت والكلاينت ده التارجت اودينس بتاعه، ولا انا ولا الادفرتايزنج ايجنسي هنقدر نقول له لا ما تنزلش هنا. يعني which doesn't happen. يعني I think you're right 100%.
هي الفكره كلها ان انت بتشوف الناس نفسها عايزه ايه. في ناس كتير عملت افكار حلوه جدا جدا بس it wasn't the right time والناس ما كانتش فاهماها كويس. يعني انا فاكر كويس قوي بالنسبه للببليكيشنز، احنا عندنا حوالي دلوقتي 4 أو 5 ببليكيشنز بس. سنه حوالي مثلا 98 كان في مجله اسمها الايف، معرفش لو حد يفتكرها ولا لا، بس الايف دي كانت وان اوف ذا بيست ماجازينز اتعملت في وقتها، والاثنين صحابها واحد منهم كانوا جايين تقريبا كانوا عايشين بره، وواحد منهم كان مات عشان ركبوا القطر بتاع الصعيد وركبوا فوق. واحد منهم كان المجله كانت سابقه اوانها قوي فالناس ما فهمتهاش. الفكره كمان انت بتعمل فكره وانت عارف ان انت ديفنتلي الاد فاليو تو ذا كوميونتي، عارف الناس محتاجه حاجه زي ديت، وتبقى فيري فيري اوريجينال يو كوبي اي حد تاني. انت لو هتطلع تقلد حد تاني في مليون واحد تاني زيك، لازم تبقى يونيك ولازم تبقى يعني يونيك اند اوريجينال، ولازم تاد فاليو تديلك حاجه جديده. ده ساعتها ديفنتلي اضمن لك الترافيك، ضمنت الترافيك ضمنت الادفرتايزرز كلهم جاي لك من غير ما تعمل اي حاجه.
This is all the time we have. Again, just a quick recap. I'm not going to repeat all the stats that Brendan was helpful enough to share.
Please don't.
I won't. But I think we all agree that content is very important. If you do create the right content, advertisers will come. There's a lot of interest in original content. If you do create anything that's similar to that, it's very ownable. That advertisers are now more and more interested in the online community, although it's very small right now. It's actually on the increase. Social is a very important aspect of it. And it looks like there's a very positive and bright future for all of you guys. I think that's it. I'd just like to thank my panelists, Brandon, Shadi, Muhammad, and again, no break. We're just going to quickly jump to a talk by Mr. Karim Khalifa.